Get yourself. We've got a recording, which is great. If you need any water for the session, this is a great time to run and get a glass of water. Make sure you're hydrated. Angie has hers. I have mine. We're all good. Okay, so the session's recorded, but I can't share my screen yet. So are you able to make me a host or a co-host, Rihan?
She hasn't. Oh, okay. I'm host now. All right, let me try.
Great. Amazing.
Okay, here you go.
Wonderful.
Work. Excellent.
Yay. Patience is a virtue. Okay.
Yes, and it works every time.
Ta-da. Okay, thank you all so much. I think we'll have some of our members joining, but welcome. So we've given at least 5 minutes of a brief intro space for you all to join. Thank you for being here today. This ICW event is brought by ICF, the Saudi chapter, and also in partnership with Assessments 24/7. Just to give you a brief touch point about the Saudi chapter, our vision is really to be a catalyst for excellence in the kingdom in the space of coaching, and it's about empowering individuals and people, right? We say individuals, it sounds very corporate, but it really is about people, finding opportunities for our growth, for training, for community building. And that's why we're here. And we're always open to growing and learning more and connecting with partners, great people as well, such as Angie too in this space. So from here, just if you haven't met some of the board members, these are our wonderful board members. We have Lena, Haitham, Abdul Sattar, Rihan, myself, Sarah, Rasha, and Abdurrahman in the community. Some of them you'll see in the space today. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions as well. And without further ado, we will jump into this exciting session. I've really been looking forward to it. Popular assessments for coaching with Angie Fairbanks. As I said, she's President and Chief Coaching Officer of Assessments 24/7, which is a great title and a great name. And if I could just do a little bit of a brief intro. Angie is an experienced coaching and training professional and an international speaker. She has a diverse background working with individuals, teams, and organizations in the business world. No matter what challenge you're facing, Angie can help you develop the habits and skills to effectively deal with them. Her approach is tailored to your specific needs, and she'll work with you to create a perspective that is healthy and productive. Angie has been in the business world for over 30 years, and during that time, she has learned one thing: success comes down to having a strong mental attitude. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Angie to the space today. I'll do claps with my hands. But Angie, over to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm just going to go and share my screen if that's okay.
Of course.
And I'm super excited. And as Sarah said, is welcome to our webinar on popular assessments for coaching. And today we are, hold on 1 second. Sorry. I think for some reason it didn't. Okay, let's try that again on my side. There we go. Are we good? All right. So today we'll dive into the pivotal role that assessments play in coaching. As you know, that was a wonderful introduction. And as she mentioned, I'm Angie Fairbanks, and I'd like to start by extending my gratitude to the ICF Saudi Arabia chapter for inviting me back for a second consecutive year. So my experience last year was absolutely amazing, especially the conversations I had with many of the attendees on a one-to-one basis. That was a great introduction, so I don't really need to kind of go into my second slide here and everything, but I will highlight one thing is on a personal note, I am a proud wife and mother, and my most cherished of all, I embrace the role of Lola, a term for grandma. However, we're going to leave that at Lola. Okay. My guiding principle in my life can be summarized in 3 simple letters, and that is IAG. And IAG standing for It's All Good. This reflects the outlook that Sarah has said, regardless of all the challenges we face, everything will eventually work out for the best. So enough about me. Let's get started. Raise your hands if you're ready to get started. Is everyone ready to get started? So, all right, great. So before I forget, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So if you can hold your questions until then, that would be great. This way I can cover everything I need to without rushing. And I also want to make sure that I value your time. So I have a very short, educational, and hopefully very impactful for you in this presentation today, because based on last year, we were a little bit rushed because we had so much to go over and so many questions. So I want to make sure that I value your time and want to make sure to answer your question and experience and hear your experience and assessments. So last year I spoke about uncovering the link between assessments and coaching for maximum success. Today we will talk about the power of assessments and the most popular assessments in coaching. I will start with a brief overview of what coaching entails, whether it's executive, business, organizational, leadership, life, or just personal coaching. It's the essence is to truly guide individual or groups towards achieving their potentials. I like what Sada said earlier, it's the individuals. Individuals are the people. And this is a people relationship. So when you're using assessment, it is all about the personal growth, the person, the human being. And that's something we really need to expand on, is the human element of our coaching. So as all of you are coaches, you know that coaching is not a one-size-fits-all solution. And that's where the importance of personalized approaches really come to play. Each client we meet is unique. They possess their own set of values, their challenges, and their own set of goals. So to effectively address these diverse needs, tailored coaching techniques are essential. And this is where assessments become invaluable. Assessments help us as coaches to gain deeper insights into our clients' personalities, their behaviors, what drives their behavior, and their thought patterns. Just think about that, their thought patterns. Most assessments are, okay, let's grow into leadership or whatever. But what is their thought process at the same time, and how do they think? With this understanding, we're able to craft strategies that really resonate on a personal level, that fosters growth and transformation in a way that aligns with each person's individual's desires. So let me ask in the chat box, if you can humor me for a little bit. Type in yes if you use assessments in your coaching practice, and what do you currently use? So just type in yes that you use assessments, and what assessments do you currently use? I'm going to check that chat box in just a second. So while I wait for you guys to type in, I will say firmly, and I firmly believe that assessments are an underutilized resource for coach. By underutilized, I mean that coaches often fail to explore both broadly and deeply within an individual or organization. So rather than relying on a single assessment, using multiple assessments can yield better insights, which we'll discuss today. When it comes to a company, don't focus solely on the CEO or the business owner, the top tier. Consider every single team member, whether there are, let's say, 2 employees or 10,000 employees. By the way, I can spend a lot more hours just on that subject, is really going wide and deep, because assessments are also a valuable revenue generating tool, team, because, you know, so many coaches hesitate to charge for this service or charge enough. Therefore, it becomes an expense on your bottom line and not an investment. So I would like to turn that around for you guys and consider assessments as an investment and a profit and a product for you versus an expense. So let's embrace the practice of going wide and deep, and don't shy away from charging for your expertise. I've seen so many coaches transfer their entire coaching model by incorporating assessments, and that leads to a significant revenue increase. And I've coached a lot of coaches, and we work with and adding and just changing and tweaking their coaching business model a little bit to where they can have a 30,000 increase per year. in some cases, and as much as $100,000 increase on their bottom line. And that's the immense power in thorough and comprehensive assessment practices. So go wide and deep. So let me check the chat box. Let's see where we're going. Yep, Viacara, DISC, wonderful. Hogan, Caliper, Motivators, love it. Myers-Briggs, great. Mindful Base, fair, and learning style. Learning style assessment is absolutely important. Positive intelligence, great. A lot of these are awesome. These are great. And some of them, a couple of them I'm going to talk about today and going to highlight because I do believe that they are, that's going to help you with your coaching practice quite a bit in these popular assessments. So the first one is the most popular assessment, and it's the foundation, which is the DISC assessment. And I saw some of you in the chat. The DISC assessment is the foundation. And in my experience, and Sarah says I have 3 decades of experience, and it's important to understand the individual's behavior. So if you're using, DISC as your primary assessment, that's great. If you're not, I absolutely encourage you, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So I'll do a quick overview for those who have not used DISC. So unlike general personality, as I like to say, behavior test. So I like to see DISC as a behavior test, not so much as a personality test. This DISC model zeroes in on the primary behavior types: the dominance, the influence, the steadiness, the conscientious. Each type offers unique insights into how individuals approach their tasks, how they interact with each other, and how they respond to challenges. So starting with dominance, individuals with this behavior type are typically results driven. They're assertive and highly focused on achieving goals. They're natural leaders, but may sometimes come off as overly direct. That's me, by the way. So I can come off with that. I'll tell you a little story on a coaching client later on. Next, we have influence. People with this trait are outgoing, enthusiastic, and good at persuading others. They thrive in social settings, but guess what? They're going to struggle with detail-oriented tasks. Then there's steadiness. These individuals are dependable, cooperative, and great team members. They're often resistant to change and may need encouragement to step out of their comfort zone. And finally, conscientious is characterized by a focus on quality and accuracy. People with this trait are analytical and detail-oriented, but they may be overcritical or hesitant in decision-making due to their perfectionist tendencies. So in coaching, the DISC assessment can be a game changer. By understanding the client's primary DISC type, coaches can better tailor their approaches and strategies. So for instance, a dominant client may need succinct, goal-oriented coaching, while an influential client may benefit from more of a relationship-focused approach and more time. DISC not only enhances the coaching experience by fostering a better client-coach compatibility, but it also helps clients gain self-awareness about their interactive styles and areas of potential growth to be that strong leader. So by incorporating DISC into your coaching practice, you're equipping yourself with a versatile tool that can bridge communication gaps, improve relationship management, and really enable you to deliver a more personalized, impactful coaching sessions. So if you're not using, I would definitely make this assessment as a mandatory part of your coaching programs and your client's journey. If you're using something else that's very similar, it doesn't have to be DISC, by the way. It could be anything that is a behavior assessment that you can tailor that. We just use DISC, and I've used DISC for over 30 years. And this is what I know to be one of the populars, and it's a leading assessment here. So you can see the power of DISC. This is just a visual of ways to use DISC. I can really spend a lot of time just on these 8 things and these specifics, but understanding your client behavior, you'll be able to coach them on creating that winning team. that fosters collaboration and enhances the culture of their business, strengthening their leadership, their sales. And a lot of people are like, Ange, how do you use sales for DISC? You'll help increase your client sales by helping them quickly understand the buying persona and tailoring that pitch to the buying style versus pitching in the salesperson style. Do you guys just hear what I just said? A lot of times, us as salespeople, we pitch in our style. We need to quickly identify our buying style and be able, if someone wants to make quick decisions and you're selling to a D, give them the information, quick decisions, you're fine. If you're selling to an S, as long as you know that they're an S and you've identified them as, you know that that sale might not happen today. It may happen in a month, and you need to let them feel secure and safe, and they trust you because that's what they're needing. So it's very important. Customer service, same thing. When you adapt to that person, you begin to deliver that wow customer service. You can do and have powerful and enhanced coaching sessions just on DISC. I'm going to go back to customer service for a second because I just worked with a client on this. And we were talking about, oh, I need to increase, I'm getting my NPS score is very low. So how do I increase that? And so we started putting surveys, we started conducting that. But the one tweak we made in just literally 5 minutes was a DISC session on how they quickly can identify the person they are speaking to, whether it's email, whether it's chat, whether it's phone, etc. And they started delivering that wow customer service. In customer service, we always think, oh, that was great customer service. However, consider working with your clients, or did your clients deliver that wow customer service by leaving your client, by leaving their customers with a sense of delight, not just satisfied, but are they delighted? So as you're coaching, you'll be able to, as you're coaching your clients on customer service with DISC, you'll be able to help them identify the difference between a wow factor and their clients leaving either satisfied or delight. And we want them to leave with delight. Next, we'll dive into the motivators assessments. I was really excited to see a couple of you put that in the chat. It's the second most popular assessment that I've seen in coaching, and motivators is really an invaluable tool for uncovering what truly drives and inspires our clients. The motivators assessment helps us really truly identify the primary motivators that influence our clients' behaviors, their decisions, and overall satisfaction in both personal and professional areas. So understanding these motivators is critical because it allows us as coaches to align our strategies with what generally energizes and compels our clients. When clients are aware of their own motivators, they become more engaged, focused, and committed to their coaching journey. This awareness fosters a deeper connection to their goals and an intrinsic motivation to achieve them. For instance, a client who is primarily motivated by recognition will benefit greatly from positive affirmation and public acknowledgement of their achievements. Conversely, a client motivated by personal growth will thrive in an environment that offers continuous learning and development opportunities. See the difference? The motivators assessment enhances really the coaching outcomes by providing a clear map of what drives the client's actions and decisions. So with this insight, with the motivators insight, we can now tailor our coaching strategies to not just help our clients meet their goals, but to do so in a way that is deeply satisfying and inspiring to them. So incorporating that motivators assessment into your coaching practice allows you as a coach to unlock a more personal, a more effective, and motivating coaching experience for your clients. I recommend using this tool to gain a deeper understanding of your clients' intrinsic drivers and to craft coaching plans that truly resonate on a personal level. So I'm going to take it a step back. Okay, so I'm going to take it a step back and tie this into DISC, because DISC is the foundation. And I talked about how using multiple assessments versus a single assessment. So in this case, in addition to the motivator's standalone benefits, the motivator's assessment complements the DISC behavior assessment seamlessly. While DISC identifies the behavioral tendencies and interaction styles, the motivator's assessment unveils the underlying why behind those behaviors. So by understanding both what drives a client through motivators and how they tend to behave through DISC, coaches can create a more comprehensive coaching plan. So for example, knowing that a dominant client is driven by power and influence provides insight to not just into their actions, but also their core motivations, right? This combined approach ensures that coaching strategies are aligned with both the client's behavioral style and their intrinsic motivators, resulting in what? A more targeted and effective coaching interventions. That is the power of assessments. So on a personal note, I told you I was gonna tell you a little story. When I first started coaching with my high D style, and in good fashion, I might add, I enrolled clients my first 6 months like it was nothing. I was making money, I signed clients, I had a good 20, 21 clients, and it was, for me, it was all about the results. I dug it, they dug it. However, I lost them all in the next 6 months. I thought I was going great. I was going to be the most successful coach at the age of 22. I was excited. I had all this experience. I had my first business at age 16. I was ready to rock and roll. I knew exactly what I was doing. So got all my first clients, lost them all in the next 6 months because I pushed them in my style and I did not remotely think about what drives them. You see, as a coach, most of us are taught to find your fee. As long as your clients are making money, they will pay. However, I quickly, at the age of 22 and a half, because it took me 6 months to figure it out, I quickly found out that not all clients are motivated by money. So I truly had to change and tailor my approach for every single client. In fact, none of my clients were motivated by money. So once I started using DISC and motivators in this approach, I was able to define and strategically find goals that'll make an impact on the bottom line. So what I was taught, how to coach everyone at the same level, the same time, this is the same way to coach, but I was never taught how to tailor. And I was never taught to tailor goals around what truly drives them. And oh, to remind you, that was 30 years ago. And I'm sure the coach training has changed today and is very different today. But there's still a group of coaches that still is like, this is how I was trained. Take the training, your coach training, and then enhance it to make it more personal for your clients. And that's where you're going to truly become that successful coach. Is not all clients are coached the same. Just remember that. And through assessments, you'll be able to help them out with that. So moving forward, the third most popular assessments, we're going to zone in on emotional intelligence. So how many times in the that you've seen on the internet today, yesterday, even the past 5-6 years, emotional intelligence has really become popular. However, what I've seen in working with coaches, we're not quite using it the way we need to be using it. Okay, so let's talk about it. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and really to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically It is a critical area of development that can profoundly influence personal and professional success. To me, this is one of the underutilized resources, again, for a coach. So why should emotional intelligence matter to us as coaches? The answer lies into its direct impact on client outcomes. Integrating emotional intelligence assessments into your coaching process offers a twofold benefit. First, it provides our clients with deep insights into their emotional functioning and relational dynamics. Let me go backwards again. Deep insights into their emotional functioning and relational dynamics. This awareness is the first step towards emotional growth and enhanced interpersonal skills. We've all seen it in today's world. When we take a look at mindset and mental health, this allows you in coaching to really get a grasp on your client's mental health at the same time. So DISC, motivators, emotional intelligence, all three together really will help you coach through that mental health type deal. And when I say mental health, is to have help your clients have a healthy mental, mindset type deal. So that was the first thing. Second, as coaches, these assessments give us a clearer understanding of our clients' emotional strengths and areas for development. Now, this information, we can tailor our coaching strategies more effectively, guiding our clients to not just go towards achieving their goals, but doing it in a way that they're happy, that it enriches their emotional well-being and relationships. So the emotional intelligence involves understanding and managing yourself and others. It starts with awareness of our emotions and temperament. It progresses through self-understanding and move towards discipline and management of the self. So it then extends these steps to connect with the emotion of others and building effective relationships. So the synergy between DISC and emotional intelligence lies in their complementary nature. While DISC gives us insights into clients' behavioral tendencies and communication style, emotional intelligence dives into their emotional processing and interpersonal skills. So by combining these tools, we can provide a more holistic, that's the word I want to say, holistic understanding of our clients. So really enhancing their self-awareness and relational capabilities. So integrating DISC and emotional intelligence in coaching sessions helps clients recognize how their behavioral patterns interact with their emotional responses. So this awareness, keep in mind, allows them to develop more effective communication and strategies and improve their emotional regulation. And that leads to better personal and professional relationships. So the practical application of these insights can transform your coaching process. It can transform the client's coaching journey, making it more tailored and impactful for each client. Thereby, it helps fostering that meaningful and sustainable growth at the same time. So when I say I'm going to go over the three most popular assessments, I take a look at DISC, motivators, and emotional intelligence. But what I'm really saying is combine the three. Combine the three at some point. And remember, when it comes to assessments, you're taking your clients on a journey. Remember, the coaching journey, your client's journey. Remember, it's all about the journey, whether it's for them, their personal, professional growth, and also going wide and deep. You're taking that organization into a journey through assessments. So this slide may be very basic to you. However, for me, it's the most important to remember when you use assessments. That's why I want to take this time to focus on the practical steps to integrate assessments into your coaching practice effectively. So, because selecting the right assessment for each client is pivotal. Okay. Start by considering the client's goals, challenges, and the context of their situation. For example, a client seeking to improve team dynamics may benefit from the DISC assessment, while other focused on leadership development might find motivators or emotional intelligence, or looking at some other assessments out there, core competency, executive insights, etc., are a little bit more insightful. So administering the assessments is another critical step. And this, I think, was a long conversation. And the reason why I wanted to put this in, because based on my one-to-one conversations last year, after this session, this came up quite a bit. So that's why I wanted to tie this in this time. So you have to really ensure that the environment is comfortable and free from distractions to help the client provide a genuine reflective responses. Don't just give it to them when they're in a stressful situation or something happened something happened in their business at that time, because it's not going to be genuine and authentic. So you also need to provide clear instructions and explaining the purpose of the assessment, and that can remove any anxiety and promote cooperation. This is also where you, as the coach, provide your experience in taking the assessment and how it impacted you. One of the biggest mistakes a coach can make is to give an assessment to a client they have never taken before. And I see it all the time. Demo the assessment prior to giving it to your client. Understand the assessment, because you can authentically say, when I took the assessment, it took me 20 plus minutes to take, and afterward I had someone else interpret my results in the session, and that debrief was intense and eye-opening, and I look forward to have this intense session for you, and hope that it's eye-opening for you as the same it was for me. Because you need to, when it comes to assessment, you as the coach need to make them feel comfortable, because interpreting the results requires an understanding of that assessment tool, and you have to be very comfortable with that assessment. So take the time to not just read through the results, but also discuss them with your client, highlight key insights, and really relate them back to the client's personal and professional experience. And this conversation is where much of the coaching magic happens. I try to say much and magic at the same time, but this right here is where your coaching magic happens, is this debrief and the insights from the assessments. And this is where the clients have that big aha, that big V8 moment, that big BFO, because these moments can significantly shift their perspective and coaches and approaches, and they will be more embraced in their coaching journey, by the way. So it is also very important that you take 15 minutes in the debrief to put together a 90-day action plan. That is something that most coaches miss after a debrief and looking at the results. You can then say, based on today's session, what are the actions that you are going to take in the next 90 days to better improve your communication, leadership, relationship, etc. So just taking an extra 15 minutes or incorporate 15 minutes to put together an action plan based on what you have spoken about is critical to the coaching journey. So moreover, it is also essential for your continuing education on the assessments. Attend the best workshops. You can have everyone on this call today, or everyone who's going to read the recording. I'm going to give you access to my calendar. You can have a one-to-one session with me to go over what assessments are great for your clients, because each assessment, each client is going to be different. We always start off with DISC. That's the foundation, because it's the communication, it's the behavior, it's in everything. However, we can tie into more into that. And I can also tie into what you're currently using. If it's not DISC or motivators or emotional intelligence and what you're currently using, I can help you with that at the same time. So I encourage you to, speak to people, read the latest research, and, consider certification programs if you haven't, because this commitment ensures that you are well versed in the best practices and using these tools and allowing you to offer the highest quality coaching to your clients. So by integrating these assessments into your package, you can deepen that understanding of your clients. And it becomes a lot more meaningful. So today, like I had mentioned, I have selected three of the most powerful assessments you can utilize: DISC, the foundation; motivators, what drives the behavior; the emotional intelligence, which is the ability to recognize and understand and choose how we think, feel, respond, and what's the word I'm trying to say? Act. These three assessments are the most popular and can significantly enhance your coaching practice. And this is going to benefit your clients and your teams. However, there are, of course, many more assessments available. I would like to share a slide I used last year. And so if any of you were on my session last year, this is the same slide, explaining why we rely on these tools. And these are 9 workplace challenges that we typically face in a coaching client, whether it's improving talent in selection, increasing sales, creating world-class leaders, boosting productivity, employee turnover, connected teams, team building, managing up. Something we always tend to do for some reason in executive coaching, onboarding, and customizing employee training. So I have created this table just for you. I have pinpointed the best assessments for various workplace challenges. So as you review it, you'll understand why DISC serves as the foundation. So starting with DISC, and you can guide your client on that journey, incorporating other assessments that align with their goals. So when you take a look at talent and selection, you're looking at DISC, motivators, DISC workplace insights, DISC executive insights, target applications into coaching, onboarding your clients. You can see a plethora of assessments that you can use. So as we start off with the foundation, DISC, motivators, and emotional intelligence, you can then work your way into sales IQ, team reports. I highly encourage team reports and collaboration, emotional intelligence. Those of you who are organizational development coaches, using an organizational development assessment, and 360s, of course. So these are some assessments that I highly encourage to look at when you're ready. However, like I had mentioned, DISC is the foundation. DISC, motivators, emotional intelligence should be your top 3 into the client journey. And you don't have to do them all at once. It's do DISC, and then maybe a year later or a month later, or motivators, and then add in emotional intelligence, and however you feel is the right time, because that's a key. Assessments isn't something that, oh, it's here. Is my client ready to take this? Onboarding your client, DISC should always be your foundation, or something similar to DISC. Does that make sense? I don't want to keep doing DISC because all of you have different ways of doing things. So I just want to make sure that as long as you're using an assessment on the onboarding to help understand your client's behavior, you're golden, and then enhance that through the client journey. So I always like, before I get into Q&A, I'll leave you with this motivational quote designed to inspire you as you integrate the assessments and strategies discussed today in your coaching practice. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Embrace each step with confidence, knowing that every assessment and insight you gain is a stride toward greater understanding and success. So as what I would like for you guys to do is we're going to do a little Q&A, but while we're doing this, I want to thank you for your time. Assessments 247 is a longtime partner with ICF, so ICF members receive a discounted wholesale prices on membership and tools. So you can set up your account. If you already have an account and would like to add assessments that we spoke about today, or for more information, email icfmembers@assessments247.com or call the number listed. My team has great customer service, and we do attempt to deliver that wow factor. But also consider me personally, Angie Fairbanks, as your assessment advisor. And if you're currently an account holder with Assessments 247 and you would like to help or to brainstorm what fits and how to better maximize your coaching with assessments, email me or schedule an appointment with me to discuss. That's my email address, and that's my assessments24x7.com/Angie is my calendar. So I would like to do a couple of Q&A if you don't mind, Seta.
Yes,
So
yeah,
as
no,
we have a few, yeah.
Thank you.
And if you don't have a question, type in your biggest takeaway from today. So if you don't have a question, type in, what was your biggest takeaway today, and what is there one thing that you're going to take out of this session to put into practice and implement into your coaching practice? So
I love that. That's like your 90-day plan you shared with us as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we jump into opening up for Q&A, we can also unmic and work with that. I just want to share a reminder in the group. We are giving certificates for everyone who attended today. And please, if you have your full name shown, then we know how to find you to get you your certificate. So if you could update that, that would be great. But without further ado, then we'll go over to Q&A. And just at the end of Q&A, we do have a short survey for the Saudi chapter. It would really help us if you would just take a few minutes. We'll show that after. But if you could stay on, and that would really help. So anyway, I know we had some questions in the chat, but please feel free to also raise your hand and unmute yourselves. We can go ahead and make it more interactive too.
So a couple of questions that we come in is, how can we train on various methods like DISC? I will say one of the things that you can do is at Assessments 247 and as an ICF partner, you as an ICF coach has free available resources for you. There's in your account, in your assessment account. So if you were just to open an account, it's actually free for ICF. In your account, you have free available resources for you. There's debrief guides, there's PowerPoints, there's activities and everything, videos and audios and everything like that. So you can have your training. I will also send Rihan a link with some extra kind of bonus things. So if you are with another assessment company and you still want to learn about it and you don't want to switch, that's totally fine with me. I will send you some education and everything like that to be able to be more up to date on DISC and train on those methods. Very simple. There's lots of YouTube videos out there. Search Dr. Tony Alessandra. He's the founder and keynote speaker. He's world renowned, been in this business for 50 some odd years. He's actually going into retirement, but there's a lot of training resources. I'd be happy to send a couple of resources to Rihan to help you guys out. How can we assess what the DISC style of someone is, like a client, without them taking the assessment? Great question. I have a great video on that. I am actually going to send that, because how you will quickly assess them. And I also have on our website, I will send you a link on how to quickly identify a client style as well. Are they open? Are they guarded? Are they direct or indirect? If they're direct or indirect, if they're open and guarded will depend on that style at the same time. So I think it would be better if I send you that educational piece. That way I can get into a little bit more of the question, answer some of the questions, but I have a great tool and resource for that. And I think you're going to be better off by that tool and resources than kind of go into that, because they don't necessarily have to. And that's one of the things I teach people. I teach coaches on how to quickly identify, especially like in sales and in customer service. You want to quickly identify them, and it's basically how they react. For example, what I'll say is someone comes in and says, I just want to know the answer to this. You're automatically looking probably a D at the moment. They want the quick answer and everything like that. If they come to you with a whole bunch of list of questions, they're probably going to be a C, because they're very analytical. They want the facts. They want this. Or you know, someone that's kind of hesitant or whatever could be that S style at the same time, but also want to make sure that the systems and processes are accurate and secure, and they want to understand the validation. Does that make sense? Are your assessments validated and stuff like that? So once they start asking those type of questions, you'll be able to quickly identify. And I do have some great resources to send over to you guys. I love Rian, thank you. Motivators is my favorite. Same to you. When do you give the assessments to your clients, all at once or one at a time? It really depends on your client. Stay true to how your client is feeling. I have done it all. Like I mentioned earlier, I suggest starting off with a DISC assessment, motivators. However, if it's I treat a business and a CEO totally different, by the way. Just kind of think. So a business owner, small business owner, I immediately do DISC and motivators, by the way, because as a coach, I want to know how I'm going to strategically set goals for that client. So I immediately do DISC and motivators. I want to know what their behavior and what drives them. For a CEO, I do DISC and emotional intelligence, and then I do motivators later. Because as a CEO, I want to know basically where their ego is, to be honest, is I want to know their self-awareness, their ego, and really their emotional awareness with their executive team. So when you take a look at your coaching practice and who you have, your coaching practice and who you have as clients, understand that they all might be different. Type deal. As a life coach, for anyone who's a life coach, I only do DISC at that time. I only do DISC because I really want to understand, you know, their style. I'll probably a year later, I'll do a motivators or something like that in life coaching or emotional intelligence. I actually probably do something more into career. Are they in the right career type deal? So each person is going to be a little bit different. I've had a lot of small business clients that I couldn't do a DISC and motivators at the same time because it was overwhelming. So I did DISC in 30 days. I did a motivator. So it's up to you as a coach to assess the right time, by the way. Okay. So don't do assessments the same for every single client because you can overwhelm them pretty quickly. Okay. Importance of assessments to understand the deeper. That's wonderful. Time is the key. I love that. Okay, is there any other questions that I've missed? I think we're okay. I will pass the insert. So I love the takeaways, which is great. So a couple of great takeaways. Any last minute questions? Anyone want to raise their hand? Again, you feel free to connect with me. I did it a little bit different this time from last year, and hopefully I wanted to scale it down of just 3 assessments this time, and for you to focus. And for those of you who don't use those exact assessments, look at who your assessment provider is, and anything that can be complementary in those 3 assessments will be great to help you. But happy to schedule a meeting with every single one of you and talk to you about how your coaching practice and how to implement what you're currently using and how to maximize assessments into your coaching journey. Also, I will say that if anyone is in New Orleans in the state for the ATD conference, come see us. We'll be there next week. And if anyone's traveling to Chicago in June for the SHRM conference, we'll be there as well. So feel free to stop by our booth there as well.
Wonderful.
So I'll turn it back to Sara and Rian. So
thank you so much, Angie. I did notice some other questions that came through just in the chat. But
yeah.
also, I think here we have one from May that came through. If a client doesn't want to do any assessment, how do you approach them to convince them in a way or build that bridge to understanding how important it is?
Yeah, 100%. So I'll be a little harsh when I say this. As a coach, you need to position your clients on how your coaching programs work. In the very, very beginning, I'm very set on positioning is power. Remember that, team. How you position your client on your coaching programs and how you will work together will 100% take the whole client journey in a sour way or in a very positive, healthy, efficient growth way. If you don't position your clients, you're not going to get what you want. I always position my clients at the very beginning. Assessments is part of your coaching journey. And here's why. Okay, so just remember that positioning is power. So when you first onboard your client, I suggest that you position that assessments as part of your journey. I encourage you to position every little thing, such as just because we schedule an hour, we may not need an hour. We're not going to shoot the crap just because we have an hour. We've got things done for, in 20 minutes or whatever it may be. So position every single thing that you want in your client's journey, i.e. assessments. Now let's go back to existing clients that you haven't positioned. So new clients, enroll them, position them, that assessments is a mandatory part. It's part of the client journey. Here's why, and give them information, right? Give them information and also tell them that, here's a list of assessments that we will potentially do in our client journey. We may not do them today, tomorrow, or the next day. We may not do them at all. The ones that we will do is a DISC, etc. moving forward. Existing clients, that may take a little time because you haven't positioned that. What you will need to do in a coaching session then is say, if something comes up, like you're not quite getting it, or you're butting heads or something like that, or they're not progressing, make a subtle suggestion is, you know what I would recommend? I recommend you take this assessment at this time, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? So existing clients, find a nice organic way to throw in one as a suggestion as part of your homework would be this. Does that make sense? So part of your homework this week, I would like for you to take this assessment, and here's why, basically. But I will let you know, I do not take on a client if they're not willing to do assessments, by the way. I'm okay with that, just so you know.
Very great.
So,
thank you
yeah.
so much. That was so informational
Yeah.
about positioning your clients. That's very fruitful. And also as well, like you said, there are dream clients and there are ones that might not be clients. So really, really
Yeah.
great insights.
Yeah, it's really up to you as a coach, really, to take on clients that are clients that you want to coach and you have a passion of growing and everything. For me, if they're not willing to take an assessment, I'm sorry, you're not a great client for me. Yep. And as a coach, you become the best coach when you actually say no to a client or when you fire a client, by the way.
Wonderful. No, that's brilliant.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Can we please give a
All
big
right.
thank you to Angie just in the chat, or you can do a reaction, and just thank you so much for your time and for all of
Thank you.
and also for offering. I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer to learn more and have
Yes.
that. So I encourage you all to do the same. And just to close out as well, we do have this QR code. If you could use it, please, it's a very short survey, but it just helps us improve what we can deliver for the whole community as we look to build on beyond ICW, more of these workshops for our space. So thank you so much for that. And thank you again, Angie.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys all for embracing my fast talking. I just wanted to get it all out there today. So we're good. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
And thank you to Rihan and Nina as well from the team. Big thank you, ladies.